Jim, thanks for joining us today here at the Wireless Infrastructure Show. You're responsible for cloud services at Nexius. What does that mean?
So what that means is Nexius is making an investment in its consulting systems integration practice for helping build both two areas. Cloud operations, which is the entire virtualization environment for cloud solutions today. So we've seen a lot of push around NFV, SDN. So Nexius is making an investment both from a practice resource perspective in those areas to help operators move a lot of their network assets to virtualized network assets, right? And then the other area that we're putting a focus on is cloud applications. What do the operators need from a cloud applications perspective to be successful in the market, both from end user services, OSS tools? So that's what that means from a cloud practice perspective.
So let's go through each of those in a little more detail. So on the first point about cloud services, what does that mean in terms of a product that you actually take to market?
Well, what that means is, so Nexius right now, the most of the products that we actually build is built around data analytics. That's the one key area that we've got product development. The rest of our company is consulting systems integration, meaning architecture, engineering, systems integration, right? Very technical, detailed resources. So what we're doing is we're applying our legacy from engineering architecture into helping operators look at what parts of their network can they virtualize, from policy to gateways to free up resources in their network to use for more applications coming into the network.
Interesting. So when you talk about virtualization, you talk about helping carriers define the tools that they need and the points of intersection with BSS, OSS. Yes. Where do you see, you've got a lot of experience in enterprise applications, but where do you see the hurdles being, and where do you see the specific opportunities to add value to a carrier moving to a virtualized network?
Yeah, so really the biggest challenges is in the resourcing side. What resources do the operators currently have in terms of helps them get to a virtualized environment, right? And so we're helping them provide those resources up front. That's the key, so they can grow their tool or their resource pool. We can train them, help them grow that perspective. The other challenge is the intersection on the OSS side, right? We've got a lot of legacy OSS, BSS vendors in the market that are fastly trying to get the operators to an environment where they can start leveraging more of a virtualized compute process store environment. That'd be Amdocs, Oracle, even the new up-and-comers Netcracker that are hitting the market today. But how Nexius is helping the operators ensure that their roadmaps for those vendors are moving in the same direction that the operators need to be 3, 4, 5 years from down the road from now.
And you're presenting on a panel this afternoon. Tell us about the panel.
Yeah, so that's a little bit different. That's actually around data analytics. So the panel is multicast broadcast over LTE. So what I'm presenting is how does data analytics ensure user experience, performance, service intelligence as part of providing that broadcast into a secure location, right? So that's the key to that.
Going back to virtualization for a minute, where do you see these network elements being virtualized? What I mean by that is, do you think the carriers will build out their own cloud environment, data center, or will they put it truly in the cloud at a third party's data center?
I think it depends on the operator. I don't see any tier 1 or even tier 2 operator trusting their customer data any third party premise, right? So if you've looked at what's happened in the market with the operators buying up different cloud compute data center environments, right, building out their own, I do expect all the tier 1 operators to move down a path of building their own virtualized data centers. Yeah.
So when they start the process of virtualization and moving incremental assets over, what do you see as some of the first elements, network elements, that they'll start bringing into that cloud environment?
So there are definitely edge components that can be shared across applications. Policy, QoS, I definitely see that as being one of the first areas in the market that's going to move to virtualized environment to free up hardware, compute, storage space for other applications to come in, and the policy and QoS for existing applications doesn't have to be redesigned for new applications coming into the network. So I do see from where we stand from a from a virtualization perspective, those being some of the key areas that the operators are focusing right now, and that's even very relevant in terms of the NFV and SDN standards that we're seeing kicking off in 2013.
And going back to Nexius' role in that migration, you talked about consulting and providing advice. Will you also play the role of data migration and system integration?
That is, yes, absolutely correct. So even from a perspective of Nexius is looking at the market from a resource pool. You know, how do we take, in terms of what's happened on the IT space, from key engineers and architects who've done virtualization in the IT space. How do we train them on the operator side and bring them into the operators and help the operators move in that direction from a resource for data migration, data integration, data architecture for those applications.
Walk me through how you're ramping up your organization. And Nexius is well known as a wireless infrastructure service company.
Yes.
Telecom software is a whole different ballgame, cloud computing. You came on board 10 months ago. How are they building an organization to really be a system integrator and a data migration consulting company?
Yeah, so Nexius, really in the last 3 years, has already been in the software space, right? And so what they've done is they've looked at the company in two areas. You've got the Nexius Solutions, which is network deployment and engineering for 4G networks, right, for all the operators. And now we've had a business in data analytics in terms of our partnership with ComScore in the past and the resources we brought over from ComScore. And so the company's looked at how do we take this software development environment that we've done around performance analytics, service intelligence, service insurance, and how do we grow it into new technology of the future, and that being big data analytics, cloud compute, cloud applications development. So that's the progression that we're making. We're focusing right now on operations, so engineering and architecture first, because that's where we're known for. The operators trust us for deep technical expertise in architecture and integration. And so from a resource hire perspective, that's where we're focused.
Jim, thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you.